that they got about 50 feet away from them, when any marksman could shoot out the eye of a pheasant, that the soldiers realized what their mission was. The 8 soldiers were lined up. The sergeant barked out, "Ready," and they lifted up their rifles. "Aim," and they got their sights. And suddenly, in the silence that prevailed, there was a thud of a rifle butt against the ground. The sergeant and the 7 other soldiers and those 8 Yugoslavians stopped and looked. Private Joseph Schultz walked towards the Yugoslavians. His sergeant called after him and ordered him to come back and pick up his rifle, but he pretended not to hear them. Instead, he walked the 50 feet to the mound of the hill, and he joined hands with the 8 Yugoslavians. There was a moment of silence. The sergeant yelled, "Fire," and Private Joseph Schultz died, mingling his blood with that of those innocent men and women. Now, found on his body was an excerpt from St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians. It said, "Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres." The soldier's choice that day, even in that horrible situation, was to lean towards hope and love and justice. And I always believe that these stories, which seem almost impossible for us to imagine, although we hear about war all the time, and some of us have military friends and loved ones. We have military men serving in Iraq right now who are related to this congregation. But this is a real story. And it helps us to lean towards hope and away from fear, if it's possible under those circumstances. With an ordinary young soldier, it is possible with you and me. Christmas is pure hope in the face of a child. Only God could think of such a loving, welcoming plan as to come to earth and tell God's story through the voice of one who started out as a child. Now, you and I know that our Christmas celebrations will end. And sometime tomorrow, if you are anything like I was, especially when my kids were little, I will spend a lot of the day going through all the wrapping paper to make sure we didn't throw out anything that we really needed. All that paper used to be on those beautiful presents, and now it's just a pile of rubbish. Celebrations end, and the tree comes down, and we head back into our lives, the routine. But the promise is that Christ will be there too, where you work and where you learn and where your family gathers. And Christ will be watching and inspiring us and loving us. And perhaps the resolution of this Christmas is, if we hold on to this story, perhaps we can always lean towards hope. God, give us that strength. Amen. We are now going to